Aries, Aries rising. How you doing, Aries? This is your reading for the Pisces new moon that happened on the 27th or the 28th of February, depending on what part of the planet you're hailing from. Here in the UK, it was about 1:45 in the morning, so that will give you an idea of whether it showed up today or yesterday. I am recording this on the day of the new moon. Apologies for the delay in getting all 12 signs out before the new moon, but I work with 6-month cycles. So the energy that comes through here is here to facilitate that Pisces energy in your chart for the next 6 months up until the Pisces full moon over in Virgo season. So we're going to be tapping into the intention of this new moon for you, as well as how to work with it. Hello and welcome. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and as you just heard and as you can see, I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. All of this brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that want to come through in this reading. Now, this isn't an eclipse. Even though it's in the sign of Pisces, where the North Node is now at the moment, this moon was at 9 degrees and 40 minutes of Pisces, whereas that North Node is at 27 degrees at the later end of it. So it's still working with that energy, but it's not a literal eclipse. The new moon in Aries will be. So it's not quite there. We are still in the eclipse cycle though, because the Virgo full moon is going to be happening, and we feel eclipse energy way earlier than we do a normal lunation. So I read for the rising signs. So for those of you who don't have Aries in the first house, look to the house it does fall in your natal chart. Look to the themes of that house, and you want to apply those themes along with all the other meaning you've got going on in the sign of Aries. So for example, I've got Aries in the 9th house, so I'd apply the themes of the 9th house. And I've also got my midheaven there, so I'd apply the meaning of that to the messages that want to come through. It'll be as if that Aries energy, wherever it falls in your natal chart, has now energetically moved to the 1st house. So the astrology I'm going to talk about for the rising sign will always still link in. You've just got to add on your own natal chart meaning on top of it. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Now, I've done a collective reading for this new moon where I've broken down the astrology in way more detail and tapped into the collective intention of that new moon, of how all the celestial bodies are talking to each other at the exact moment that forms an energetic harmonic blueprint that we are then all working with over the next 6 months in the Pisces area of our chart. Pulled collective tarot, some really big messages came through in that. So if you want a deeper understanding about this new moon, pause this video, go watch the collective reading, and then come back, because that collective reading acts as a baseline for what's going to show up here in regards to your Aries energy. So my lovely Aries rising, where is this happening for you? Well, it's happening in your 12th house, the hidden house, the house of mysteries, right? This is things going on behind the scenes, the unconscious realms, the occult. It's a very magical house, but in those unconscious realms can be trauma responses, limiting beliefs, and distorted love languages. And that's why this house is linked into sort of anxiety, depression, loss, grief, isolation. But underneath all of that good stuff is the magic of your soul, right? So it's the cosmic joke from the cosmic troll that is the cosmic universe to put the magic of our souls underneath all of the unconscious conditioning. And that's why you see in a lot of spiritual practices, a lot of book religion, that the inner work is the way through. And so it's the pulling back of the layers in order to strengthen that connection to the magic of your soul. And your soul is just you, just without the conditioning. My third eye's throbbing. It's a very, very magical house. It is your power up. But it is the part of the chart that can feel so incredibly personal to you, but also kind of out of reach and not necessarily integrated with the rest of the chart. Depends. It all depends on your natal chart and where you're at. And I always say with clients, and with anyone that I come across with when I'm talking about astrology, try and find ways of bringing that 12th house into other areas of your life and help integrate it. Now, before I get into the the seeds that you can plant, the intentions that you can plant around a new moon. And even though you'll be watching this after the event, time's happening all at once, so you can retrospectively plant those seeds. That is my firm belief. Just want to let you know what's going to go on with the tarot. So I am using a new deck that arrived a couple of days before I started the All 12 Signs series. It's the John Bauer Tarot, and it has lots of very magical, fairy tale, evocative, imaginative images. And it's the first time I've used a non-Rider-Waite-Smith deck for the main tarot that I do on this channel. I've really been loving it. I'm leaning into the imagery and what's the imagery saying to me, rather than predominantly focusing on what suited is and the traditional meanings. I will be incorporating them as well, but we're going to be looking at the imagery a lot more, which is very Piscean in nature, right? Very imaginative, very intuitive. And I usually shuffle for jumpers, and I'm not going to be doing that in this transit. I'm going to be shuffling while I'm talking about the astrology. Jumpers will come out, but that's acting as sort of like a pre-shuffle context to what's going to show up here. And I've really been enjoying working in this way, and I've been trying lots of different ways of divination, and pushing boundaries, pushing into new territory. This is the North Node in Pisces energy of learning to trust, even if you're unfamiliar with certain practices, learning to trust that source is communicating to you at all times, that everything that we do is in alignment, and it's learning to build trust in unfamiliar places. So if you pull cards, I thoroughly recommend play around with different ways of doing it rather than what you're used to. So as I said, I'm going to be shuffling this deck while I'm talking about the astrology. When I finish, I'm going to shuffle it 3 times, and then we're going to take the first 5 cards from the top of the deck. And that's when we're going to get into the tarot. And I'm also going to be pulling cards from 2 different oracle decks at the end. So intentions to set around this new moon. Now, new moon in the 12th. I love new moons in the 12th. This is a fresh new energy in those unconscious realms, right? In the sort of, it is a challenging house. It's very powerful once you get to grips with it. But as I said, the sort of the withdrawal, right? The sort of wanting to be alone, the anxiety may have been building up in the lead up to this new moon, or you may have felt a little heavy, a little depressed, or incredibly psychic, and or both, right? Because you're clearing out some old energy around those unconscious responses, right? And this fresh new moon is bringing in lots of lovely new energy for you to work with. So intentions you can set is to elevate the magic of your soul out into the world, your stronger connection to it, a stronger connection with that frequency, with that magic. Also, it's a great intention to set with the 12th of meditation, right? Because that isolation doesn't have to be, I'm feeling really separate from everything. You can, it's like going on a retreat, right? You can consciously have the intention to be in that state of your inner world and the cultivation of your inner spaces, right? And helping do a lot of healing there. If you're suffering from certain anxiety or depression or things like that, I know I've definitely had the energy of depression for most of my life, as well as anxiety, and it's still bubbling to the surface, but something, it's not in the same way as it used to be. That you can set intentions to work with that, to really do some deep healing around that 12th house. You can ask the sun and the moon to highlight some unconscious responses that you may not be aware of over the next 6 months for you to do the work with it. But overall, like the intention to elevate your connection to your soul, to the magic, it's basically your power up in the 12th house. Of soothing those unconscious responses and reconnecting back to the truth of self in a nutshell. If you haven't caught the North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo transit series, I thoroughly recommend it. One, because we're dealing with a new moon in Pisces that is linked into the North Node, and also the next moon is going to be the eclipse in Virgo, because as well as the fact that this energy is very profound in how we are reorienting orientating our understanding of reality over the next year and a half. And that's it. I loved doing that transit series. I've applied everything that came through, and I can feel my reality completely shifting in the best possible way, in the most profound way. It's genuinely blowing my tiny little mind. It's in its own playlist. It's easy to find. It'll give you a bigger understanding of the eclipse cycle that we are in. So not only have we got the sun and moon in the sign of Pisces, and it was conjunct the asteroid Ceres, which I break down in the collective reading, but we've also got Mercury, Saturn, the North Node, and Neptune all at the later degree. So it's a big power up, a big formation going on in your 12th, some real shifts and changes in those unconscious spaces of being able to connect to the synchronicities, the sort of the fluky, unconditional love of Pisces. I love the sun being in the 12th. It helps shine a light in those unconscious spaces. It helps give you vision and clarity and answers to perhaps, say you've suffered from a certain formation of depression for a period of time. I find when the sun comes through there, and Mercury being there as well, you're getting the messages from your soul. You all of a sudden just have that bright idea of why. And that helps you then work through it and untangle it, as well as bringing up a lot of but you may have just felt with everything that's going through Pisces, obviously Venus went through there as well, of just pulling back a little bit and going within. So that's all going on in Pisces. Again, I've broken all of that down in the collective reading. Now we want to look to Jupiter, because what did we get here? We've got justice came through. Interesting, in the pre-shuffle of an inner balance and inner truth. They're just sort of tapping on the third eye. Like, hello, inner vision. Bringing balance in there, bringing in the truth of your soul contract, coming to illumination here. Tapping around the heart. So Jupiter traditionally rules Pisces, which is what I work with in my own practice. So we want to look to Jupiter, because Jupiter will be influencing what's going on with this moon. We just got the devil come out. Letting go of those unconscious responses, things that bind us through our actions in the 3D world. That can be addiction, as I said, distorted love languages, prioritizing things that don't serve our evolutionary growth and our joy and our creativity. And Jupiter is over in the sign of Gemini, and Gemini is in your third house. Sorry, my brain's a little bit blibbly blobbly today. Two of Wands, reconnecting to your power, right? Very stable. There's some stability coming in, and things are coming towards you that aren't going to shake you, that it's just going to give you more resources and more understanding to build from that place of power within your unconscious spaces. Jupiter is over in your third house, and the third house is the house of the goddess, how we find meaning in our day-to-day. It's the local community, it's your walk to the shop, it's the washing up, it's learning new things, short distance trips, siblings, as well as the lens in which you communicate through. Jupiter moving through here is giving you more wisdom and elevation in the way that you communicate, an understanding of a deeper meaning and a bigger perspective around how you find meaning in the day-to-day. I've done a Jupiter and Gemini transit series, that's still relevant until June, when it moves into the sign of Cancer. I loved doing that transit as well, though that and the North Node and South Node recent one have been pretty wild in terms of the energy around them. Have really felt like, okay, these are the jigsaw pieces, the keys to operate with reality. So Jupiter is influencing from the third house of communication, right, to your unconscious spaces, right? So this is bringing in a higher perspective of your ability to zoom out and understand and perceive your reality, no longer limited by those unconscious responses, and really being able to find the magic in the day-to-day. You know, as I said, third house is also about learning new things because it's linked into schools and also siblings, and we can have wounds around those things, and Jupiter's just helping elevate your understanding of all of that, elevate your understanding of miscommunication, right? And really allowing you to soothe any wounds from your early years in those unconscious spaces. I can see a real strong connection of your capacity to perceive those unconscious messages from your soul in your third house as you're doing the washing up, as you're walking to the shop, getting a lot of downloads that way, finding a deeper meaning. I think the third house is the gateway to enlightenment, right? The more that we find the joy in the washing up, the more that then ripples into the big things without us having to think about the bigger picture, because we're bringing that joy, that resonance, that abundant energy into the little things. It then, as I said, infiltrates everything else. So there's a two-pronged effect of one of soothing those unconscious responses, soothing that anxiety, soothing all of those difficult energies, and having that bigger perspective in your day-to-day, finding that meaning that is soothing that, as well as like really getting some really great downloads from your soul and finding the wisdom in it. As I said, like when you're just walking around, when you're communicating with people, like a real intuitive connection in the way that you're communicating, perhaps in the way that when you're talking to others, like something that you say is incredibly profound because your higher self, which is just you without the conditioning, is sending you the download of what that person needs to hear, what you may need to hear. Now, Jupiter is in Gemini sign, which is ruled by Mercury. And where's Mercury? Well, over in Pisces. So Mercury and Jupiter are in each other's realms. They are hanging out in each other's signs. And this is what's called mutual reception. And they're essentially psychically hotlined to each other. They're facilitating each other's journeys. They're supporting each other. They're governing the whole chart, by the way, for this moon. So this is locked in for the next 6 months, where you're going to find this wisdom. You're going to find this ease of your soul, ease of your worries and your fears and your physical vessel, in your incarnation of like, what are you even doing here? This feels so soothing and so empowering. My root chakra is wiggling a little bit. And so Mercury is giving downloads to Jupiter, giving the messages, passing the wisdom on. And also I find if you are, and we all often do, suffer from various stages of depression or anxiety, that connection between Mercury and Jupiter is just going to be able to give you like, hey, maybe go and do this practice, maybe establish this is going to help you work through it. There's a support network between your day-to-day, the information that you're perceiving, how you communicate with the information you're getting from the 12th house. Right, that's the astrology. There's way more going on, but as I said, that's all over in the collective. So 1, 2, 3, let's roll. Oh no, wait, don't know how that ended up. Oh well, maybe let's do that. None of these cards have been in reverse. I've been shuffling the alama and making sure that none are, because I just felt called to do that. But this one somehow ended up in reverse. So at the center, we have the core intention of this new moon that will unfold over the next 6 months. This card is what's closing out. What cycle is closing out? It doesn't have to be negative. It's just something you've been working on that is now coming to a close in the lead up to the new moon. The root energy to the core energy, the crown to the core, and then how to work with it. So sort of what to embody over the next 6 months that's going to really amplify this middle line. So let's look at the core. What's at the core? That 10 of Swords. This is powerful for the 12th. This, who else got this? I think Scorpio got this as well. Interesting. You're both ruled by Mars. Mars has now gone direct. So this figure definitely reminds me of Odin, right, with the 2 ravens, and the ravens represent memory and thought, and Odin is very wise, right? And there's this understanding of the wisdom and the struggle that's led to wisdom that you've gone through, right? And it's swords, so it's perspectives, it's the imprints in the unconscious spaces that this you've come to this point of a deeper understanding, a deeper wisdom of what's been going on in the 10th. That's now the intention that's coming through is you are now walking over this rainbow bridge with all of that wisdom. It's not that you're being held by the 10 of swords anymore. It's not the limitations. It's not the restrictions. It's now this capacity to see, and this very ties in with the 3rd house of finding that joy, finding that creativity in the day-to-day, the connection to your higher self, the connection to your soul, to the rainbow ray of it all. To be able to go into the darkness, the unconscious spaces, and walk the path of the rainbow ray rather than being limited and restricted by certain ideas and certain constructs in your unconscious realm. It feels very strong, very powerful. And your capacity to understand the why and the wherefore, that's opening up more creativity, opening up that bridge between you and your higher self, you and your magic, that you're able to then bring that into your understanding of the world, right? Jupiter over in Gemini. And be able to perceive that at a higher level. They're shaking the head, which is funny, given that you rule the head, Aries. Oh, excuse me, I'm just going to pause. Obviously, some throat chakra stuff's coming out. Sorry about that, Aries. And the Mercury being there, of clearing out the blockages around you, being able to intuitively connect to that just feels like an open pathway that's coming through, that is acknowledging perhaps the difficulties and the struggles and the wisdom that you've learned from that. That the way through is the light body, right? Now let's look to see what's been cleared out. The cycle that's come to a close is judgment in reverse. Now, this, we've got the angels up here, right, can represent your sort of support team, your higher self, the earthly realm of the shepherds in the 3D, of the block of that connection, the block of seeing it, the block of hearing it, the block of receiving. That's a very straightforward, clear energy right there. Because we're activating that higher level of connection. The rainbow always reminds me, I connect it to the chakras, right? The vortexes within us, that when they're in alignment, we're in alignment with the energy around us. We're in alignment with our own light body. And so you're clearing out this phase of a restriction around that connection, and how to then bring it out into the world, right? Think of that Jupiterian energy in your day-to-day, in how you find meaning into day-to-day. So you may have had the downloads, you may have had the messages, but there just might have been a disconnect of it showing up in the 3D, or of you applying it in the 3D, or feeling that resonance is all around you at all times. Right, the root energy. Oh, we got the Queen of Wands. Not had her before yet. Oh, Shinima. Aries energy here. I mean, look at this. Just the inner serenity, the peace that's coming through, the being able to take a breath and enjoy the environment. It is just, this genuinely feels like you hanging out in your unconscious spaces and seeing the flowers bloom, very sort of spring-like in their energy, with the buttercups and the snowdrops surrounding this figure, surrounding this Queen of Wands, of really nurturing this unfolding, that's allowing you to soften, allowing you to enjoy those day-to-day moments. Jupiter in the 3rd is coming through so strongly, of going out and being able to go to the walk to the shop and slow down and see the beauty in all the things, to be able to smell the roses that you pass without the frenetic energy of, I've got to go do this and I've got to go and do that. And again, the serenity in the unconscious realm of you being able to be in that space. This feels very unconscious, right? This sort of mist of not quite being able to see clearly. But what you are seeing is fertility. What you are seeing, we've got yellow and white. We've got the solar plexus, right? The sense of light and vision and abundance, of taking action in the world, and the clarity of the white, of that connection to the higher self, to the angelic realms, whatever it is you want to connect to. Of this sense of fertility and new life coming through in those unconscious spaces that are allowing you to feel, it just feels light, playful, but soft and slow, and this element of peace and serenity. Aries. Ooh. love that. Love that with the combination of the wisdom that we have here. And we've got thought and memory of like letting go of the memory and the entanglement with it, say the pain and the grief and all of that, and being able to go over this bridge with this serenity here, of this sense of clearing the decks, and this new life bubbling to the surface. And look, she's taken off the crown, right? It's still there, but it's as if it's like you're taking off that sense of weight of responsibility. It's allowing more of, of the to-do list of, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that can lead to the anxiety, can lead to the over worry and the fear mindset. And really just allowing that inner space to be calm, right? So often, right, when we do that meditation or we go inward, you just got the chattering monkey mind, right? That it's just hungry for energy, because it's it burns up a lot of calories. So it'll go for cortisol and adrenaline, which is why we can go into negative thought patterns. Whereas this just feels like like your unconscious spaces are finding new ways to nourish you. Okay, let's see what's at the crown. We have the Page of Cups. This is traditionally Rider-Waite Pisces energy. Whoa. I've seen this card in a pre-shuffle, but it's not come out in any of the readings yet. This is quite something. This feels like you're in so you've got these figures down here, right? And then you've got these two massive energies, which feel very powerful, like big old soul energy. And this feels like your masculine and feminine energy of your conscious self, being in more awareness of your bigger soul, right? We're in our soul. Our soul isn't in us because our soul's massive. And then you've got the masculine and feminine of your soul that has lived so many lives, has experienced so many things, has such great wisdom. It feels like a combination of this energy and this energy, right? The wisdom and then the serenity of coming together and communicating with each other, right? You feel like you're doing parley. You're now open. You're in more awareness of this part of you, right? There's lots of birds here, lots of messages and communication. They're not in a forest, so it's not like they're lost. There's a real openness, and your soul can see so far into the future. And it's like you're coming to this space to them to communicate with that and be in union with that and kind of parlay and have an alliance, a stronger connection, a stronger alliance to the wisdom that has always been within you. And you're really open to communicate in different ways and different experiences and be more connected. There's a stronger connection coming in. Right, how to work with this core energy. We have the Eight of Swords. This happens to be Jupiter in Gemini. It's shown up for nearly all the signs in the pre-shuffle. And I think this is the first time it's shown up actually in the main cards. There's some real power here. Because the Eight of Swords traditionally is letting go of limiting beliefs. And what this feels like is how to really amplify this is be aware. Remember, this is a new moon, so this is being seeded and it's going to unfold. And it's how to amplify it is the Eight of Swords. And this feels very protected, right? This is a very similar image to what's at your root, not sex specific in any way. That there's a great deal of protection around you, and they want you to acknowledge that while you're kind of decompressing and releasing the limiting beliefs. And letting it unfold, and they really want you to know that you're protected, right? You might have a particular spirit animal that is that your instinct, your intuition is connecting to you right now, that is with you, is protecting you as you go through this very powerful unfolding of releasing of those limiting beliefs, releasing of the cages of the mind, as you decompress back into the great earth mother. And that's going to allow you to build in the 3D world, are free from those restrictions. That's really helpful, actually, because, you know, it is kind of acknowledging, yeah, there's still some stuff to let go of, right? There's still, you know, Odin's still got to figure out some more wisdom in order to and allow this surrender. So they're focusing, one, on the acknowledgement there are some limiting beliefs that you are in a process of letting go of. Be really open to that. Be really open to shifting and changing. This is mutable energy. Know that you're protected, and that the way through is surrender. Oh, they just put this oracle deck on my third eye. And trust in it. Trust in the process. Because with this closing out, I can understand where you're like, what are you talking about? Like, I felt really disconnected. That's been part of the process, because they're wanting to highlight that disconnection is an illusion. And this new moon is helping activate a stronger connection while you integrate that with the process of letting go of that disconnection, because this figure is fully lying on the earth, fully lying and connecting to the earth mother, the earth spirits, the big ecosystem that is this planet, that's part of the ecosystem of the solar system, of the galaxy, of the whole universe. And you know, you've got all these stars in the background, so that's bringing in that star galactic frequency of, you know, you might want to go and ground yourself, do some grounding energy. But yeah, there's this element of decompressing that is clearing your energy field and allowing this serenity and this openness to the connection, and they're helping heal the pain of the disconnect, that's allowing the clarity of your essence with this decompression to come through. Like, after the decompression, that clarity is just going to, so trust in the process that there's a bit of reorientation that you've got to do, right? We're all doing right now. We're really learning to work with this new frequency, this new timeline, this new reality. And it's, we you know, the best way is just take your time, enjoy the process, understand the wisdom of what's around you. You are protected. That giant, I believe it's an elk with those horns. It might be, yeah, I think it's an elk rather. It could be a moose as well, but that real sense, they are phenomenal energy. If you ever watch anything or see anything. Okay, we're going to get one more from here. Yeah, you're really being protected while you reorientate back to serenity. Be open to the messages, be open to the communication, and understand. Oh, third eye, again, real throb. Okay, they're not wanting another one to come out. And again, it's at night. This figure is alone. They've withdrawn. Very 12th house energy. You might want to spend a little more time. Do what's right for you. In doing meditation, you know, having salt baths, reconnecting, using that isolation as a retreat rather than, because you may just find naturally that you're pulling back from the outside world, around with all this Pisces energy. But obviously this is locked in for the next 6 months. So give yourself the space to decompress, Aries. You know, you're a yang rising sign, and if you're just Aries energy in general, you're there's a yang energy of the go. You're very instinctive. You want to go out, you want to do. There's a very protective energy, very sort of you know, little warrior energy going on. And this is saying, hey, put down your sword, know that you don't have to fight all the fights, know that you're protected in this time of decompression, and it's going to give you more energy, more life, and more capacity. So we have from Rainbow Brainskull, I hereby grant you the power to make me unhappy. It's all very appropriate for the 12th. No one can get inside your head unless you welcome them in. If someone is disturbing your inner world, it might just be time to kick them out of your outer one. Establish boundaries, communicate and honor your needs. And so very tied into this, right? Of being aware of the difficult energy of the 12th house, the cause and effect. And what they're saying is give yourself some space. You know, this elk is like to anything around it going, back off. It feels very like real strong protection energy. So there's a lot of support around you to get back to, like, Pisces cannot have any boundaries. It's the ocean, right, of your unconscious space is just being bombarded, right? And so there's such beautiful energy coming in to help support you, but there's a part of you that needs to consciously be mindful and aware. Okay, right, I'm gonna do a little 5 minutes here. I'm gonna put up I'm gonna not summon, but I'm gonna imagine, okay, whether it's the elk, whether it's another spirit energy or animal energy that you want to draw in, that's watching over you and warding off anything that's distorting you, that's making you unhappy, right? So often when we're not doing that, everything's just infiltrating us from the outside world, and we're like, well, why am I feeling unhappy? And it's usually got nothing to do with you and everything to do with something just permeating your energy field. I'm going to be talking about protection energy in the oracle reading, which is what all these oracle cards are. That's going to be the next reading that comes out. So you might want to tap in to that, my loves. Okay, so your final oracle card is Synergy. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. Well, that is summing up all of this, right? This sense of, you know, Odin starting on a new journey on the Rainbow Bridge. This sense of serenity can feel so alien to us. This new adventure with you and your higher self. You and your soul energy. And it's going to transform your life, Aries. The origin of the word synergy comes from working together. Do it rather than being in resistance. And it can be described as the result of something that is greater than the simple sum of its individual parts. In the new energy, we can expect synergy to not only refer to a process with an outcome that is greater, but to one that involves uniting elements, energies, and even undefined attributes to create something that is completely new, different, and unexpected. This brings a wondrous element of magic to the whole process. In this activation, synergy is represented through the uncommon and rather bold choice of color combinations. By itself, pink represents the divine feminine, you know, with that Queen of Wands, very on the money. Attributes of love, nurturing, stillness, and receptivity. And the bright yellow-green colour represents the new energy through clarity, beauty, and exhilaration. Purple brings in consciousness and insight, while the opening at the top represents the channel that allows input from a higher place. This is like repeating the whole reading back. I'm here for it. This communication is taken in, brought to the core, surrounded by loving pink and light, and transcended to release onto the earth plane in an appropriate energy that is in alignment with the consciousness there. The effects of this release a ripple through the emotional planes, the water, the mental planes, the blue, and can even affect us on a DNA level. The coding in the background. Try this. Take a moment to go inside yourself and think about a situation when seemingly very different people came together and worked towards a wonderful result. Now think about a personal goal of yours. Who can you bring together to help you to accomplish your goal? Oh, hi, soul magic coming together in union with 3D consciousness. What about a global goal? Can you think about it and do the same? Aries. Beautiful. Really beautiful reading. I enjoyed this a lot. Very powerful. I'm wild that just repeated everything back. Itoela dishenima. Well, my loves, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it resonated. If it did, hit that like button. Leave me a comment. It brings me so much joy to see if it resonates. What's going on with you with that North Node in Pisces? I can imagine. Ooh, I'm very jealous actually. I mean, I've done that reading. It can amplify all of the difficult energies of the 12s, but trust and know it's in order. I talked about this in the all 12 signs for the Pisces North Node, Virgo South Node transit. You'll come out the other side having a stronger grasp on your mental health and a stronger connection to the magic of your soul. It will be profound. Just be in observation that there is an amplification here. Aries, be good to yourselves, be good to those around you, safe travels, and be well until we meet again.